The individual has always had to struggle from being overwhelmed by the tribe. To be your own man is hard business. If you try it, you will be lonely often and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself.
Good day, I hope you're well. My name is Veliswa Tia, and today I'd like to talk about a very important topic of self-reliance, relying on yourself. I'd like to give a few points of how I think you can build your self-reliance, and I hope from those points you'll be able to understand why this topic is so important. Before I get into the points, I'd like to talk a little bit more about myself so that you can also understand how my foundation of self-reliance was slowly developed. I was brought up by my grandmother in an extended household filled with cousins and siblings. I think at a point in time there was about 6 or 7 of us, cousins and siblings, all in one household. I think he also imagined that it would be difficult for us to get individual attention. So it was more of a matter of we see 1 or 2 people being given instruction and we knew that that instruction applies to all of us. How I grew up, there was no one to check if you had done your homework. You were kind of expected to do it and you just did it. What was strictly taught when I was growing up is the importance of respect, responsibility, and go to school. The rest you had to figure out by yourself. The teaching of respect and responsibility was supposed to be strong enough foundations that you were supposed to grow and be strong to make good decisions along the way. The having to figure it out by yourself made me independent very early. I was responsible, so I knew that I had to do my homework when I got home. If there was something I didn't understand, I knew that I was responsible to go and look for help. No one was going to inquire if I was confused or didn't understand anything along the way. I was responsible. This is how my self-reliance grew. I always had the understanding that I have to figure things out, and if I am confused, it is my responsibility to look for help. And that is how I became the self-reliant person that I am today. And so I hope that helps you understand a little bit more about how I became the self-reliant person that I am today. And I hope the points that I'm going to share with you are valuable, that you will also be able to apply them in your life. Before we get into everything, please do the right things, like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more awesome content. The first point is trust yourself. Self-reliance is going to require you to trust yourself. What I know is that the world is changing and will continue to change. Many of you have been adapting to those changes. If you've been adapting, then you can change. If you can change, you can also be more self-reliant. Practicing self-reliance will help you trust yourself more because it will become clear to you how capable you are. The more you trust yourself, the more you are willing to attempt. And the more you attempt, the more experience that you gain. The more experience that you gain, the more you are able to trust the decisions that you make. However, if you avoid practicing self-reliance, you're reducing opportunities to give yourself experience. Experience that is needed to grow your trust in yourself. If you're interested in trying something and no one wants to try it with you, give yourself the experience and try it yourself. Don't wait for others to validate or approve what you want to do. If you want to do something, do it. I have given myself that experience. If people don't want to do the things that I want to do, it does not stop me from doing it because I want that experience. That experience is important to me. And so if others don't want to come along, it's fine. It was always what I wanted to do, and I will do it regardless of whether other people want to come with me or not. It is important that you grow that mindset and that responsibility and reliance on yourself, that if others don't want to come with you, it does not stop the fact that it was you who wanted to do it anyway, and so you should continue. You continuing and doing what you want to do, regardless of whether others come with you or not, helps you trust yourself more. It tells you that you've got your back no matter what. You do what you must no matter what. And so it's so important that you trust yourself because it grows your self-reliance. Trust yourself. The second point is teach yourself. There's a quote I like about the importance of reading books that says, reading great books is about getting a second chance. It's not about being born again, but it's about growing up a second time, this time as your own teacher and guide, Virgil to yourself. This is by Mark Edmondson. When you take on self-reliance, you are choosing to be your own educator and guide. Teaching yourself allows you to be the teacher that you have always wanted. It allows you to be the person that you have always needed. A lot of people will complain that they didn't have role models growing up. Okay, now you're in charge. Teach yourself what you think you should have been taught. If you feel like you should have been taught how to be more confident, then teach yourself how to be more confident. Be the person that you needed. If you don't take the time to teach yourself what you feel like you should have been taught, then you are choosing to be the exact same person who failed you. Teaching yourself allows you to grow your capabilities at your own pace. The more you teach yourself, the more you are able to consider the next time you have to make a decision. The more you teach yourself, the more avenues that you can draw from the next time you have to make a decision. Emerson says, the one who is self-reliant values intellectual independence. Begin to be the teacher that you have always wanted. Choose to be the guide that you have always needed. The third point is take responsibility. No one is coming to make your life easy. You have to come for yourself. In self-reliance, you have to be prepared to be responsible for yourself. The most important question in self-reliance is, what did you do? So, things went this way and they went that way, but what did you do? You can decide if you don't want to do anything. Doing anything is also doing something. You're choosing to do something by not doing anything. But in self-reliance, it is understood that you are the leader of your life, whether you choose to acknowledge it or not. Your life is following your instruction. It is following your direction, whether you want to accept that or not. So choose to take responsibility for your life and lead yourself somewhere. Lead yourself to where you want to go. The fourth point is decide on a direction. Where are you going? Whether you're aware of it or not, you are leading yourself somewhere. Whether you like that somewhere or not is entirely up to you. Decide where you want to go. In self-reliance, you don't wait for the government to change before you choose a direction. You don't wait for the economy to change. You don't wait for the approval of others. You rely on yourself. You rely on yourself to choose a direction that will benefit you. Decide on a direction for your life. I think 2020 would have taught us that how important it is to determine ourselves. I think we would have noticed that a lot of governments did not know what to do. If they had moments of not knowing what to do, how can we expect them to always know what we should do? Decide on a direction for your life. Devise a plan for your life. I wish I could say that all my plans are written in detail and all stored somewhere. However, I don't always work this way. If you do, if that's your strength, then we should collaborate on something. I love people who are good at the things that I don't always think I'm always 100% good at. There are plans that I write in detail, and those are plans where I don't feel like I have a lot of experience in what I'm trying to do. And so I want to be a little bit more meticulous because I don't have a lot of experience that I can back myself up with. However, when I do have a lot of experience, I work more on a more calendar basis type of planning. I decide that, okay, based on what you were able to achieve last year, you should be able to do this in 3 months. We are starting next month and we should be done in 3 months. That is relatively how I do a lot of my planning, but that type of planning is when I have experience in what I'm trying to do. And so I can gauge how long it should take me to do it, and then I just set the plan in motion. So I work differently depending on the amount of experience I have in whatever I want to try. That's kind of how I plan things. We're different, we all work differently, but it's important to understand what works for you. But it's even more important that you actually do have a plan. Decide on a direction and follow it. The fifth and final point is make your own decisions. Make your own decisions means you do not need the approval of a board of directors every time you need to make a decision. You are accountable regardless of where you get the advice. At the end of the day, you will be accountable. I think it is important to be clear that I'm not saying don't take or ask for advice when you feel like you are not strong in the decision that you want to make. Asking and taking advice is very wise, and I'd encourage you to do it. But I want you to be clear that at the end of the day, you will be accountable for whatever advice that you take. And so you have to help yourself gain experience in decision making by making more decisions yourself. If every time you have to make a decision, you delegate it to someone else, you are giving away experience that is valuable to you, experience that would have helped you trust your decision making even more. It is your life. You are the leader. I thank you so much for your time. I hope you found value in this video. If you found value in this video, please do the right things, like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more awesome content.